The Knicks enter the offseason with 2 first-round picks in the upcoming draft, an early second-round pick, and they could have more than $50 million in cap space depending on how they approach things with their existing free agents. So New York should have plenty of tools to use to build out the roster in the offseason. The question is, how do they prioritize things? What pathways do they take to try to acquire players? We talked a lot about the point guard position over the course of the season. Dennis Schroeder is a name that had come up earlier in the season internally with the Knicks. Kyle Lowry is another name that had come up internally as a potential target for New York. There's going to be plenty of players available at that point guard spot, including Mike Conley, Lonzo Ball, Devontae Graham, Kendrick Nunn. So the Knicks should have options there if they choose to go after a point guard in the offseason. An interesting name to keep an eye on is Chris Paul, because Bleacher Report reported on Thursday that Paul is expected to decline the option on his contract for next season and seek a 3-year deal in free agency. Now, obviously, the only way he's declining that option, Chris Paul, is if he has a deal lined up. And so you would think that Phoenix would do everything it can to re-sign Chris Paul, given the way the Suns have played this season, given how Chris Paul has elevated them. We mentioned the Knicks here because the Knicks had interest in trading for Chris Paul last offseason. Obviously, he ended up going to Phoenix, but the Knicks did see him as a great piece to try to help build out this roster and build the culture. So I would assume that there would be some interest among the Knicks if Chris Paul does decline that option. Just something to keep an eye on as we move through this offseason.